All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Subspace front-end apps biweekly call. Today, we're going to get some updates from Özgen and Leo on the updates on the improvements to Subspace desktop. We're getting pretty close to being able to test that with our community on our farmnet. So looking forward to those updates. Özgen, if you want to take it away.
Sure. In the last few weeks, we made significant progress, really good progress, and we have defined many issues and solved most of them. The latest big news are we are able to track the initial plotting phase, and it shows accurately how long will it take and how long it's completed. And also, we are able to see the syncing process too. So before the initial plotting, there's actually a syncing process, the syncing process of the node, which is taking a lot of time if you are starting from scratch. And some of the users may think that application is stuck because there is no progress is shown there. Thanks to Leo, we also indicating some information about that. So users will know that it's not stuck, it's doing something meaningful. And other than that, I can actually share my screen and show you the issues we have and the ones we solved so far. Okay. You guys can see it, right?
Yep.
Okay. So let's start with the closed ones. We had a bug for Linux, so it wasn't building correctly, but not able to run the application, so it was a runtime error. We fixed that. Now we are able to build and run the application for Linux. We have the support for that. We fixed the icon sizes for Windows 10. This small bug is also fixed. So there was more of a security concern. We are storing the mnemonic in the local storage. We are not doing so anymore, which is better. Also, this is abandoned. I'm working on that. I will explain it later. We also fixed this. Okay. And also a little bit more update on the icons, because in the macOS, the icons were a bit big. So let me jump to the open ones. So the most important thing is we still have the default 10 gigabytes allocated size, which is not reflecting the truth. We should determine how much space will be occupied, and then we need to reflect that in the GUI. So this will be an important part of releasing the application. I believe we fixed that. We need to confirm one more thing with Nazar, and after that we have a PR ready for that. This is fine, I believe. And as I mentioned, plotting progress is working. The last thing I want to mention for the big updates are, I can close the screen. The node will be integrated to the desktop app, so the users will not have to open a terminal for the client and open the desktop app for the farmer. The terminal will be embedded into the GUI, and I'm working on that. It's finished. The node is successfully integrated into the application. We need a small amount of time for node to start correctly so that the farmer can connect to the node. And right now, if we don't wait enough, farmer actually crashes because it tries to make a connection. When it can't, it returns an error. So there are alternative solutions for that in my mind. We can also discuss it later. So when this is solved, if you follow one of the alternative approaches, when this is solved, the node integration process will be completely finished, and we will be able to run a single standalone application, which will be the node and farmer together. So these are the updates on my side. Probably Leo will have some more to say, or if you have any questions.
I think it would be good if you could, if either you or Leo could give us a demo of what it looks like right now on the desktop app, and at the end we can have a discussion about the blockers or the open questions, so the ones that you brought up.
Leo, are you able to do that? Because I was
Yep.
doing tricep
Yeah.
node and my node is not synced at the moment.
Yeah, I think that I got a local network with a lot of blocks running. Let me launch the app and share my screen. Sorry, I had this. This wasn't working. Yeah. Well, continuing explaining the issues we were closing with Zoom. Actually, I got several I have shared a branch which covers several issues from fixing the elapsed time and the remaining time, and actually also fixes this dashboard not displaying one blocks. This is related when the user already had a previous version with different configurations and everything. It was not validating the blocks in there, so it solved it also. And several other issues like the restart button, it was not restarting the farmer and not clearing correctly all the cache and the local storage and a few other things related to the stability of the app actually. And also fixed several other things that were kind of fake. We are going to check it right now. And as you can see, up to here, we have no changes in the UI. But
Yeah, actually
here,
we do. There was a slider there. We removed that, but we maybe covered that, right?
yeah.
Okay, sorry.
So in here you can see this message. I already had this node synced, but previous to that, to this, it just shows syncing node in the same way, 1, 2, 3, from the latest block on the network. And after that, it shows the archived segments that are made in the farmer. And in the meantime, you can also reveal this, and this is not anymore in the local storage. So at the moment, this pop-up unmount, get unmounted, the mnemonic in the memory it's deleted, and we have to wait to get fully synced in here. It will take some time in production actually, but the remaining time it's fixed. It takes some time to calculate exactly what's the remaining time. It will depend on the speed of your network and everything. But finalizing this, we can go next.
Leo, is it actually plotting that quickly, or is that just a
Yeah,
demo?
this is the no, this is not demo. This is okay, but this is related to a development optimization in Rust, I think. That
Okay.
in development mode is not present, so the farmer takes a lot of time on archive it. But in the release and the publish, in the production version, it should not be present.
Okay, great.
And
And
archive
by the way,
segment will be really more fast. Yeah.
okay,
this is not with queued up, by the way.
Yeah.
right. This is just on CPU. Yeah.
So as you
Actually,
can
I had
see,
another question, Leo. If you could
yeah,
back up. Sorry. So you said that you'd already synced the node. If you haven't synced the node, like there's 137 segments, right? So if it syncs segment 1, will it go ahead and start plotting segment 1, or does it have to sync all 137 segments like
We have
sequentially?
to
And then
wait. We have to wait to have a fully synced node to start farming connected to that local node.
to start farming or to start plotting?
To start plotting and farming. And after
Okay,
that farming.
so it's basically sync the blockchain, then plot, and then farm.
And
like
then
lockstep.
start farm. Exactly.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
exactly the process.
Got it.
Actually, if you can see here, if I hit reload, I think, yeah, it should work. It shows the network latest block, but before that, it starts showing the local block and the network block and how many blocks we have pending. And also in here, the same message. The same message done before, actually. Oh, I resetted the app, sorry. It's relaunching, sorry. There is archived one of 131 39 segments. Yeah, 139 segments. I am working in this actually, so that's the reason is it doesn't get synced. But yeah, I think that's what we have right now. The full flow from the start to the beginning, from the beginning to the final step. And in terms of issues, I think this is the final one that I have to finish. And I think that with this, we can have the published version from the front end side, at least.
Yeah.
I think that we have to work in the node integration with Oscon before that.
All right, great. Thanks for the update, Leo. Looks like a lot of amazing progress on both y'all's sides, so really happy to see that. Any questions from anyone else on the user interface or the workflow right now? Or comments?
Yeah, I checked that the latest version of Tauri in the CLI, you can actually create a React app from the beginning, and probably migrating this will be faster with the latest version of Tauri. You just create all the templates and everything, and you can just start moving the pages and everything.
Okay, let's hold off on any migration to
Yeah,
React until we have a better idea, but it's good to know that. Okay, Oskin, do you want to talk about the open questions right now for the node integration?
Sure. So let me clarify the problem a bit more. When the app starts, the application starts, the farmer actually starts too. So in the background, we are doing the plotting and farming. But for that, farming needs to connect to a node. So if we forget about the node integration and if we think about the terminal and the application, here will be the process. In the terminal, imagine a node which is synced and open ports to listen the farmer. So we open the desktop app and the farmer starts, tries to connect the node. Node is available. Everything is fine. And the farming and plotting operation starts. This is the happy path. This bad scenario is this. The node is not synced and node is not listening from any port for the farmer, and farmer tries to start. So you have a not available node and you try to open the desktop app, then the farmer crashes. Because the way we wrote the farmer at the moment is tries to connect to the port, and if it cannot, it panics and stops working. This is how we wrote the code. We could write that in another way, which is try to connect the node in a loop with timeouts or some trial amount. For example, try every second, and if you try like 100 times and you cannot connect, then crash. For example, this can be a solution. Oh, before that, sorry, I have to add one more thing. When we integrate Node to the desktop app, the node takes around 15 to 20 seconds on my machine to be able to listen to farmer. So farmer needs to wait at least 15 to 20 seconds, then needs to make the connection to node. Otherwise, it crashes. So as a temporary solution, this will not be in production, of course, I put sleep command for 30 seconds just to be safe, and it works. But we don't want that in the production, so that either the farmer can do trials in a loop, or we can build a subscription method for the node, and node can notify the farmer, okay, I'm listening to you right now, and then farmer tries to connect to node. These are the two solutions coming to my mind, but I'm open to suggestions.
Have you discussed this with Nizar at all yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. So you said it takes about 15 to 20 seconds to start
Yes,
the node. Do you know what it's doing in that time? What the bottleneck is in that startup process?
I don't know. I don't know much knowledge about the node.
I've had that same issue on my end, like when I've just tried to write simple like bash scripts to automate starting up my nodes. And it's just the starting up of like the substrate processes, like loading up the chain spec and everything. So like as it's going through, it's about like 10 or 15 lines you need to let it get through before you can actually start the farmer in the terminal. But that my experience.
Substrate, I mean, Substrate should start almost instantly, like within a second or two. It must be something to do with our sync process on the network that it's waiting to return something. I don't know. I'm not as familiar with the internals of the startup anymore, so that would Nizar would need to weigh in on that.
It will be related to the same problem of in terms of the optimization in development, Osgun?
I don't think so, because it is also present in the release, not only in debug. But could be. So okay. I can talk with Nazar, but I'm doubtful that it will be related to developer things.
Yeah, by the looks of it, like I just restarted my node out of curiosity. It's the native runtime is what it's getting hung up on for a couple seconds.
Yeah.
And then after that, it goes and I can connect my node. But that's obviously just like visually looking at the node.
There is, I mean, there's a plotting of the Genesis piece set, which occurs at startup, which is something that's overhead on top of Substrate that we added, but it's only like a megabyte, and it should be, especially in release mode, it should be using like hardware extension, so it should be like lightning fast. It should be like not even visible. That's the only thing I can think of. Yeah, so it sounds like we've got a couple different issues here. So from what I'm hearing, there's sort of a performance issue of what it shouldn't take 20 seconds for the node to start up. So that's a little bit separate. But that's good that issue exists, because it allows us to see this race condition that we've got here, which we need to handle. So I know there's a kind of a chicken and egg problem with the way that the node starts that Nizar has kind of handcrafted the solution to, which basically requires there to be an active node before you can start plotting, but like that's not strictly necessary in the protocol. So that's probably a deeper problem that we need to think about architecturally, about how to solve that. I probably need to have an offline discussion with Nizar about. But immediately for this detecting this race condition, you need to ask Nizar what the best approach is here. I think some kind of like a timer, like a timeout checking. I mean, that will work, but that's not the ideal solution.
Yeah,
I think that there should be like a way to basically subscribe, like within Tori, to like say like node.start, node.onStarted, then asynchronously await that, and then farmer.start plotting. something like that is the correct way to do that. And I'm pretty sure that that's supported within within the framework right now. I don't know exactly how to do that, but Nazar can really weigh in on that. So just message him on Discord and ask him what he thinks is the best way to handle that.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you can create a couple of issues, Oskin, for this. So it sounds like you've already got the issue, the main problem here that we're going to ask Nazar. But the other issue is why does it take 20 seconds? You know, let's like a performance benchmarking issue. Like, why is it taking 20 seconds to start a node? Shouldn't take that long. So we just need to like maybe more in the backlog figure out what that is. It's not a priority for you, but something we need to track. And the other one is like a way, like maybe like a researchy kind of a question of, is there a way that we can start plotting without syncing a node? Because it sounds like it's okay for now that we're doing this like more sort of sequential lockstep process. What we'd like to get to is the ability to sort of in parallel, pull down the chain, sync the node, and plot at the same time. Like as we're pulling down the chain, like plot the pieces that we're getting. Or that's one way to do it, which is kind of because we have this full replica farming right now. But eventually, we're going to be able to pull down the chain and retrieve the pieces, the subset of pieces that farmer is going to be storing through a completely different network path from the farmer network, from the DSN that Nazar has set up.
I remember that from talking with Nazar on that syncing and plotting at the same time issue. For benchmarking CUDA, we were at the point that, okay, we are fast, we can be faster, but it will not have any utility since the network bandwidth will be the bottleneck. So I know that in Nazar said we already should have like syncing and plotting should be together, not one after another.
Right. Well, a lot of it's doing with the mechanics of the way that the node is set up right now, where it basically has to pull the block, like it has to sync. I think that the client is set up such that it has to sync before it can plot. But I guess we'll need to check with Nazar on that.
Yeah.
But what like the goal here within the next few months is that there will be, the node will do like kind of a fly client or a warp or some sort of like an accelerated like header, like logarithmic header sync to say like, okay, I believe this is the longest chain, although I haven't synced the chain yet. This is what I think is the longest chain. And then it will start, like that will be the first thing it does, which it should be able to do in like 1 second, roughly. It's like request maybe like a small proof from the network and then verify that. And then once it is, high probability I'm on the longest chain, then it will start syncing that longest chain in one process, and in the other process it'll start plotting its subsector of the piece ring in parallel. That's what we're going to be moving towards, but I know we can't support that today.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other open questions or blockers, Oskin?
No, we have a task to handle with Leo, so we will be doing that together. But I don't think it will be any blocker or any open question, so it will be trivial. So no need to discuss that.
Okay. On your side, Leo, any open questions or blockers?
No, we are pretty synced with Oskun, so I think that we know what we have to do to close this soon.
Okay. Justin, any updates or comments on the user testing of the desktop app?
I had an issue that I brought up to Leo yesterday, or the day before rather, that we're working on. Once we get a good game plan on that issue, I'm going to continue to move forward on getting more users going on it. Just trying to find a good upgrade path to users who had a node and farmer set up prior with the terminal.
So the issue is that if you already installed the app, that it doesn't install properly the second time?
So if you already had a farmer that had plotted and ran like through the terminal or what have you, if you start up the farmer, even in the proper route with the node synced and everything, it doesn't show your rewards on the desktop GUI. So like it's hard to see if like your farmer is actually properly running. It'll say synced and everything, but you don't see any, like for example, the first day I ran mine all day and didn't get any rewards as far as I could see.
This is with a different identity?
Yeah, basically that's what it boils down to, I believe, is that there's ends up being two different identities.
No, and also we changed the variable name in the latest versions. So Justin probably have a configuration with different account struct actually. So it was not validating anything in the start of the app, and it was just redirecting to the dashboard page because there was an existing plotting directory with contents in there, and it was just validating that before. So if with the newest version, it will validate both the account public key, the farmer public key, and the existing plot. And if all is okay, we'll redirect to the dashboard. Otherwise, we'll show the setup steps and everything.
Okay. Do you guys have that in a GitHub issue right now?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, great.
I also found an interesting feature in Tauri that is the updater. So when we release a new version, we can handle this change of variable names, and we can migrate this configuration to avoid losing any user.
Like an auto updater?
Yeah.
So on startup, it'll look for new patches and download them.
Exactly.
Yeah, it'll prompt the user like, hey, do you want to update?
Great. That's wonderful. Okay.
And then really the only other, I'm sure you saw Leo and Oskan, the other issue I put in there that probably a good enhancement for down the line is just to not let the users open multiple farmers. Because that was like even when I was testing, I realized that I was opening multiple because it doesn't close. So it goes to the task tray. You don't realize it. You go to open it again. Now you have two open. Very quickly, could become out of hand. But nothing major, that's just a user interaction improvement.
I think it will not be a hard task to do, so we can accomplish that in the future easily.
Okay. Any comments or questions on your end, Diana?
Yeah, no comments. Thank you for your presentation.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for the great work. I guess if there's nothing else, thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks, and hopefully we'll have a full desktop app by then.